the very crowded and not very large room called the Stanze della Segnatura that is not only dense with people, but it's dense with imagery. We're looking at frescoes by Raphael.
Painted during the High Renaissance, at the same time that Michelangelo was painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling, just a few doors away.
This painting, The School of Athens by Raphael, is the embodiment of the spirit of enlightenment and refinement of the Renaissance. The School of Athens is a large fresco at the Vatican, measuring nearly 17 feet by 25 feet.
The Renaissance was truly a revolutionary period in the Western world, especially when it comes to art. During the Middle Ages, art was restricted to religious propaganda, and there was little to no room for artistic expression or interpretation. Artists were seen as simple craftsmen. They did religious propaganda the same way a shoemaker would make a shoe. The goal behind these paintings wasn't to provoke or to create beauty, it was to preach.
Raphael's birthday is unknown, but it is said to be on either March 28th or April 6, 1483. He was born in Urbino Marsh. Raphael worked as a painter and an architect in the High Renaissance. Raphael was well brought up in his early days.
Painted between 1509 and 1511, it depicts the great minds of the ancient world, or at least those lauded by the Renaissance. It follows in the tradition of the famous men fresco. In Raphael's work, the great men don't just stand next to each other in a kind of scholars' lineup, but they mix and debate. They engage in the inquiries that have brought them to greatness. We see...
Let's focus on just these two central characters, Plato and Aristotle. Plato holds his book, the Timaeus, and Aristotle carries his book, the Ethics. Plato points upwards, and Aristotle motions towards the ground. These two represent two dominant forms of philosophy in Western thought. How do I know this is a Roman space? The arches, mostly. The Romans utilized the rounded arch much more than any earlier civilization, so let's examine those arcs and how they help the composition. Though these arches appear smooth, rest assured knowing that behind their smooth veneer lie wedges stacked like so, with a keystone resting on top. Now let's start with the forces involved here.